Morning. It's a cold, frosty morning between Christmas and New Year 2016. We're taking the camper van out today for a couple of days down in North Wales, and so we're going to do a bit of wild camping, I think. Hopefully, anyway. Well, as wild as we can get it. Let's see how the weather goes, how the situation goes, and no doubt you'll see where we're going, where we've been, and hopefully some other information regarding what we're doing. Anyway, look out this window because this is how frosty and cold it is. It's a cold and frosty morning. If you decide to come to this castle, I think it's weekends when it's staffed. It's about £4 per person, adult that is. But when it's not staffed, they open it up and it's free to get in. You wouldn't have guessed it by today's ruins of Denbigh Castle that it was intended to be one of the formidable fortresses in the whole of Wales. Denbigh is technically a member of Edward I's Iron Ring of Castles, a series of strongholds built in the late 1200s to help the fearsome king overcome Wales. However, it's never shared the dizzying reputation of its sister castles, Harlech, Carnarvon, Conway, which today are actually UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Despite having played second fiddle all its life, Denbigh is still an incredibly interesting ruin to visit. It also affords brilliant views of the surrounding countryside when you've climbed atop its rocky perch. Around 1277, the area was used by one of the Welsh nobles, Dafydd ap Gruffydd, as a palace for his formal residence. Dafydd was brother of Llywelyn, the last prince of Wales. Dafydd's residence in Denbigh was formed of compromise. Edward I of England had been struggling to capture Wales for some time, and it had come in an uneasy peace agreement with Dafydd and the other Welsh nobles in 1277. By that time, Edward had seized some, but not all of Wales. Dafydd made a fatal mistake in 1282 and decided to rebel against Edward I. Edward was absolutely furious. He crushed the rebellion, destroyed Dafydd's palace in Denbigh, and ordered a castle to be built in its place. A castle designed to keep the Welsh in order and to destroy all memories of the palace's history. Edward I was a vengeful man and unleashed the worst upon Dafydd. Dafydd had his unfortunate distinction of being the very first person recorded to have been hung, drawn and quartered. After quelling the rebellion, Edward I granted the land of Denbigh to one of his loyal nobles, Henry de Lacy, who was then Earl of Lincoln. Henry de Lacy started out by destroying all remains of the old Welsh buildings belonging to Dafydd, and began building his castle with gusto. However, despite his best efforts, the project was never to be completed. Why was Denbigh never finished? Well, there's a whole variety of reasons. Stories tell that Henry de Lacy's son, Edmund, tragically drowned in the castle well, which naturally deterred de Lacy from investing time and energy in the fortress. But there were many other complications. Repeated Welsh uprisings and insurrections, problems with the supply of material and sufficient cash, and de Lacy's death in 1311 all acted as further obstacles. After de Lacy died, the castle heirs did embark on a new phase of construction. Efforts were made to thicken the walls and construct new towers, but attempts were half-hearted. By that time, King Edward I had also died, and the threat of Welsh rebellion appeared to be subsiding, and so there was very little interest in completing these castles. Denbigh also remained unfinished because Henry de Lacy left no obvious heir. As a result, the castle passed rapidly from one noble family to the next. It should also be said that the ambitious size of Denbigh rendered it expensive and tricky to maintain. During the English Civil War in the 1600s, the castle was already on its knees. During the conflict, it was occupied and used as a prison by the Royalist forces, but after they'd lost the war, the place was intensely damaged by the Pelotarians, and languished ever since. Although the ruins of Denbigh are initially quite confusing, in places the ruins are so slight, significant it's hard to visualise what they were before. Many elements of the castles are surprisingly important in historical terms. I hope you've enjoyed a little bit of history about Denbigh Castle, and maybe one day you just may turn up and have a look at it. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching.